You're my one of you're away. You're not God, but God.
Elijah Balser, he, him. I use the word transgender fluid, which is, I don't want to say it's a word I made up because I know it existed before I used it, but I think it just existed in passing.
My name is Leslie Mena. I identify myself like a her or she, like a female.
Hi. My name is Ella Marquez. I am a transgender writer. I am a woman. I identify myself as a woman, but like many of us, we were born in a different way.
My name is Vanessa. I identify as a female, trans woman.
My name is Samantha Letoile. I am an H&R Health Service Representative, and also I'm a part of the Unity Coalition member board.
My name is Bridget Daniels, and I identify as transgender. Well, a professional heterosexual trans woman.
I am Harper Martinez, and my pronouns are she, her. I identify as a trans woman. I prefer the trans woman versus transgender. I'm a little uncomfortable with the transgender word, but overall I identify as a woman.
I guess for me, being trans means that I get to live my truth. I don't have to hide. I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not anymore. I don't have to pretend to be something I'm not anymore. I know a lot of people say that they would choose not to be trans. If they could, they would choose not to be gay if they could. But I mean, I think had I been born a male, I wouldn't have the friends I have now. I wouldn't have the community I have now. I wouldn't have a basic understanding of how humanity should feel, how humanity should operate.
The harder things for me to be a transgender woman, maybe at the beginning, the acceptance of my mom, because she's the person who more I love in my life. And at that years, she didn't understand clearly what is a transsexual mean. So that's what's difficult, but little by little she started to see my process, and at the end she accepted me like a transsexual, and that was a very big difference in my life, and so happy too.
When I was born, my brain was wired to be a woman from the beginning, and as a matter of fact, many of my people that I know when I was very young, like my sister, when I transitioned, they were not even shocked at all. It was for them kind of normal that I did, I transitioned. So, my sister just said, "Oh, that makes sense."
Okay, so family means to me, I have my chosen family, and I have my family. Family means to me the people that, you care about and they care about you.
I'm so much like my mother. I am my mother's child. Oh my God. I always said I don't want to be like my mother, but believe it or not, my mother is actually my hero, or my shero. My mother's everything to me. She's my world. She's my heart. She's my heartbeat. She's my just everything. So to not want to be like my mother is an insult. If anything, I want to be better than her. Because by the time I get old, plastic surgery will be in a pill.
So I tried to come out when I was in middle school, around 13 to 14, but there was a lot of fight and pushback from my family. And I started my medical transitions first. So for me, I like to divide my transition kind of into 3 parts. The medical, legal, and social transition. I started my medical transition way before the other 2, about probably 3 years ago, right around when I was about 22. And that was smooth at first, but for me, the hardest part was as my hormones started to change, learning how to deal with a lot of these new emotions. And socially, I've been able to surround myself with people that are understanding, but it's been hardest on my family. For them, how to understand a new name, new pronouns, and they're still in that process of, some of them accept me and just use my own name and pronouns, and some of them don't want to speak to me at all. But professionally, it's been amazing because I've been able to go into this career that I'd only been in for a little bit of time and have people within a month or two just only know me as Harper and only know me as female with female pronouns.
I think one of the big problems for the rest of the community to understand transgender people is because they don't know exactly what we are. Now, the government uses a lot of terms and a lot of different words, and sometimes inclusive. Sometimes the transgender girls or the transgender persons, they don't know how to identify themselves. I think they need more information, maybe go to Google, go to internet, request, what is this, what is that, and get on time in all the new terms, because it's very different between one another's.
Well, I, for one, am female to male. So I was born into a female body, and I'm transitioning into a male body, kind of. I mean, I don't know how much of a male body I can actually really get. But so then there's male to female, and that's when you're born into a male body and you transition to female. And then non-binary is, you can transition when you're non-binary. That has nothing to do with whether you identify as, neither male or female. And then, but you can transition if you're presenting female or you're presenting masculine. That has nothing to do with being non-binary. And then also cisgender is when you're perfectly happy with the body that you were given when you were born.
I began my transition, I want to say late. Transition, it's never too late to transition, but in my own mind I was late into living my truth. But I began transitioning at the age of 29. Well, I'm 29 now, but 27.
So that's actually a very big part of my transition. I did transition here in the United States. I came to the States when I was 9 years old. So quite a bit, about 18, 19 years ago. And Venezuela, like a lot of South American countries, is a very, very anti-LGBT, just not policies and environment. So my family's only knowledge of trans women and trans people was that of sex workers. So when I first came out to them, when I was about 13, their only idea or hope for me as a trans woman was that of a sex worker. So they clearly fought against that. And it took me a long time to be able to be myself, because even a lot of these notions of what it meant to be a woman were tinged, especially with those very rigid gender boundaries. So yeah, South America has these very rigid boxes of this is what a woman should be and what a man should be. And if someone that likes and does embody both of them, but identifies as a trans woman, it's been very difficult for that family to understand it. So I've had to take a step back from them and had to relearn how to communicate with them and be around them.
I think that a lot of people misunderstand what a trans person is. They just don't know, I've been blessed but I have my moments also. I just want to tell people that, you get to know somebody before you judge.
I have actually, to tell the truth, I've got the opportunity quite often to tell to young people about their transition. And there is only one way to go from my perspective, and it's what I usually tell everybody. Of course, they have to have their own experiences and they have to know what they want. But there's only one thing: follow your feelings. You are responsible for one thing in life, only one, and it is yourself. And if you cannot accept yourself, you cannot accept anybody else. Follow your own feelings. Try to be true to what you are. because that is the most beautiful thing in life.
Being trans means to me happiness, because you have to be really happy inside of you in order to show up the person that you are, because it's it's every day, it's hard to be a transgender person actually at this moment.
Love to me is loving yourself. Self-love is the most important kind of love in the world. And if you can't love yourself, how can you love someone else?
Loyalty, I think, is someone who stands by you, the good and the bad, sickness and in health. It's like a marriage. And that's always good to have.
Love means caring for someone unconditionally and learning how to take in their positives and negatives and learning how to be there for those most difficult times.
Love yourself. Don't try to find the way, the easy money, because I understand that as a trans person, we want to get everything done and quickly. And most of the time we make a mistake in our body, just introducing different kind of chemicals in your body, and also to look more feminine, or using hormones without prescriptions, which is really bad for the body. It will damage your body in certain times. So being a transgender is something that you have to make a really good decision to do it.
I would tell my younger self, it's okay to be feminine. It's okay to dress how you want to dress. It's okay to wear your hair the way you want to wear your hair, the way you want to polish your nails, walk, talk. It's all okay. That is you, little BB.
Slow down and don't be afraid. I was afraid to fight for my body. Afraid to fight. I'd tell that little girl, let's fight and don't be afraid.
We are special. We are very special. Not many people have got the possibility of learning two different genders and learning the world from a completely different view. And this is positive for everybody. So, find your way and be the best you can.